We love hip hop.
I was outside. I was on roads. I was doing roads. Okay, for the Toronto people who understand the lingo. I was doing roads last night.
Ready for some real hip hop tonight?
Big salute to Dusty Wallace also. You know, we're both up there hosting the show for Bishop Brigante. It was a charity event, you know, for his cancer recovery. Very, very dope event. Big salute to the boy Bishop Brigante.
Can y'all make some noise if y'all ready for some real hip hop tonight?
I told you just a couple of things though.
Now here one also. This is kind of a bougie jam. I'm kind of not feeling it too tough. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna be transparent with the audience here. You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to go viral.
Oh, no. I guess.
Oh yes, I am wearing the same hoodie from last night.
Because when we're in a pop event, usually people are in the front. I see sweat flying. I'm seeing hands waving. But it's kind of looking like a stush, screw-face capital type of thing that's going on.
Yo, so about if you got time.
That's how I'm feeling, man. Shame on y'all for the support the artists. Support the people who are out here making these beats. Go to the studio. Make these rhymes. Okay? It takes guts to get up on stage and talk in front of motherfuckers.
So respect it. Just to finish my sentence right there. And right here, I put in the caption there, Screwface Capital. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe y'all have the same problem going on in your cities, for whatever cities that you're in. When you got local shows going on, and listen, don't get me wrong, near the end of the show, everybody was at the front. Everybody was having an amazing time. But there's this thing that happens in Toronto, no matter what type of event it is, unless, I'm not going to say with everything, because I've been to a lot of shows where the show's packed wall to wall. There's no choice but to be at the front, okay? But there's a lot of events where you go to these events and, sorry, my nose is sweating. Everybody's playing the wall. They're too cool for school. They like what's going on the stage, because when you come off stage, they were like, yo, that was pretty dope still. And when you said this and when you said that, yo, do that again. Very dope. So you heard everything that I said, but you were on the wall. You weren't in front. You're too stush. You're too good to be up in the front. I'm not feeling that. It's 2024. We're not doing that no more. And there was a lot of old heads in attendance still playing that old, I'm too cool, and I also rap, so I'm not going to be in front acting like a fan. We can be fans and still be doing the things that we do in the culture. I'm going to play something for y'all and then go get the door.
Life. You understand? Anybody who's here today and managed to see another day, give thanks for your life. But if you have strength and you have life and you have energy and goodness in your heart, then come downstairs and show some love for my bro Bishop for his life. See? So this is just me inviting everybody in here. I love the vibes. I've seen everybody from every part of the city, from all different eras, all different vibes. And what we're gonna do, I'm only saying it one more time. After that, more time if you want disrespect, you could. But all of us.
How Cardinal had to be in the front telling people, you know what I'm saying? Cardinal, with his legendary self, has to come to the front and be like, yo, what are we doing over here? This is a benefit for the man's life. Stop playing the wall and playing so cool.
Come down here into the crowd so we can enjoy what Bish and his son is about to do. Because if there's one thing that I learned coming up in the city, you know what I mean, from anybody that know me, it doesn't matter which area you come from, more time, it's all about the city love at the end of the day. And if anybody that got anywhere in the city are the people that weren't haters that showed love. So tonight, a lot of you motherfuckers are grown as shit. Some even have grandkids. Come on for the fuckery. Right now, we are getting together on some grown man shit. And we are going to show love to Bishop for his life. You understand what I'm saying? This is a man that I love and respect, honor. And you know what I'm saying, more time I had to make sure that I was here. So big up to everybody who took time out of your lives. A lot of us were I know I will survive. A little louder, I will survive. I will survive. I know I will survive. I will survive. I will survive. I know I will survive.
She gives me tingles, yo. Let me go on Bishop's page. I know Bishop has a lot posted from this show as well. He's probably got enough in his stories here. Jeez, man, like Friday there. Holy. Let's go. And one thing also, when Bishop was performing, his hype man is his son. Okay, salute to Lito. Just to see the way that these guys were interacting, just the back and forth that they were doing on stage, and like you raised this little nigga like that just too much. It warmed my cold black heart. Let's go. Salute to Richie Sosa. I think I got some better stories here. No diss to Bishops. He's doing reposts of stories. I got some exclusives from my camera to you. Let's go on to the We Love Hip Hop page. Follow us on We Love Hip Hop Network if y'all want to get some content for your head top. What do I got over here? Salute to Mikey G.
Keep that going, y'all.
Holy.
The legacy only gets bigger through hard work. Only through hard work. Y'all ready? Keep that going all the time.
Talk to them, Bishop.
The legacy only gets bigger through hard work. Every in the crunch, sunshine touch the ghetto for the first time. Reverse in time, late night, hustle and grind. A shiny piece of steel, a monster combined. See a mama smile for the first time in a long while. Finally, she's proud of her child. Look at things that sign check, left for the squad. And some kids on the block, like what always be hard. Hold on, you could have athletes, you got your name.
See the young buck over here with the fit? That's his son. Okay, the man's on stage doing it up, and his son is the hype man. Ask you before we start our conversation.
I know I don't got my
life.
I'm ready for some real hip. Yes, sir.
Some of y'all might know where I'm from. So, see, 1 and 2. So when the 1 and 2 come out here to do a 1 and 2,
listen to Shot Claire.
will understand.
I'm gonna add some more stories right now as we speak in real time.
Let's go.
IRT. I'm gonna add bear stories right now.
We about to do it like this. This is what we do when we hear. Somebody make some motherfucking noise in the house right now. If you don't know how me and Bishop get down, then y'all need to know. Y'all really need to know how me and Bishop get down. When I met him the first time at this tent at some place, and he said I was a rapper, and I said I was a rapper before I was a rapper. And then we went and did it. Let's go and do something like that. Let's go.
Jeez.
Hey, put your hand on the steering wheel.
Man,
Put your hand on the steering wheel
look at
like
this last
this.
night.
Put your hands out like you're relaxing. What? You cruising. What, 6 more Impala? Yeah. I like a 6 more Impala.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do a quick refresh because I just added a bunch of stories onto to the list over here. Let's see. I gotta get a new battery for this mouse over here.
come out here to do a 1 and 2, and only a man from Scarborough will understand when I back home. I know it's just to get down.
Salute to Republic. East was in the house, yo. Holy.
You was the touch type of man then. A better life for your folks who didn't have shit. Too busy spending away. Hoping for brighter days don't pay. You knew that shit. See, I went a separate ways. Damn, girl, that's it, player. Treat me like you used to do. Everything about you is brand new. You change. I know it's all here.
Another angle of the Richie Sosa show. All right, got y'all.
Eyes bloodshot red, looking like a zombie, butt naked like the Terminator out the concrete. Trying to put my clothes on, feeling like I'm all eat, fingertips tingling, money on my cranium. The way I'm trying to ball, they gon' hang up over the stadium. But y'all, check it. I hope today'll be a good day. I hope today'll be a good day.
What's my next slide? I don't even know what I put in there. Man like Tona, holy, the East is in the building. One thing I will say, the sound man, salute to you, but he needed to make the sound way better. That's one thing that pissed me off. Well, you see Mindbender in the front. Holy. Mindbender is in the front going crazy. Mr. Front Row. Hold on. Give it another refresh. I got small.
Tona, he's there. Yo, DJ Love, me and Tona had some fun for a minute. Hey, switch back up. I didn't mean literally.
Comment gang strong, yo. Hit that like button, yo. Canadian content time.
Yeah. Should I ask them?
Link is at the top, bro. Sounds. DJs are the links at the top.
Fuck that! Take money, take money! Yeah! Many places. Competition that's likely to pop the big bird. Let's go! Tell them who the fuck I am! How many of y'all have video back?
No. Haley, she said the crowd is dead. It's a funeral. God damn. No. It kind of looked like that from the angle there. The crowd was going crazy in there. It was a vibe. Once everybody got to the front and stopped acting so high post, it was a vibe. Definitely. My bad.
No, it's an offense, man. Hold on a second, run.
Salute to DJ Law.
That sounded cool, but it was kind of missing something. You please turn up the blue light or some shit? Check. We tried it again.
It's tripping over there.
I just need to make sure it sounds right.
You know what that is? Somebody freaking talking to me.
Having a good time.
Hold on. You know when you're trying to tape something, and listen, if you're hearing this, also the person who came to talk to me, don't be offended. But you know when somebody has a phone in the air and they're actually filming something? Here's the worst part, because I seen Law doing this. He had his phone sideways and he was filming something. And then somebody was in his ear like, "Yo, Law, what do you think about this, Law? And the state of hip hop. What do you think about Kendrick? You think Kendrick won the battle?" You don't see the niggas filming something. Now you're in the audio. Cut that out, man. Social cues, please. Jesus Christ.
We try to turn it up a little bit. Another notch. I think so. You sure?
So,
You're ready for something like that right now?
are y'all ready for something like that?
Shit is annoying.
All right, let's see if he knows what we can do right here. I'm gonna say bling like blow, and I want to hear everybody in here say you like my style. Let's see how you guys do it. Bling like blow, bling like blow, bling like blow. What you think? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
go, Leo.
Yo,
My style.
you're just in time.
Shout out to DJ Love.
Who's that? Dusty Wallace, Scary Potter.
Bling like blow, bling like blow.
Bling like blood, you like my.
Salute to Dre Specs. Oh no, sorry, that's King Smooth. Yo, Czar,
yo.
for you as a younger buck, right?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Yo, it was very eye-opening because, like even with the new generation, sometimes I'm 28 years old. So sometimes it seems like I'm almost the older head for like the younger kids. But now I've seen the generation right before me. And I was amazed at like how the community was so familiar with one another. Cause I'm not used to like the Toronto rap scene congregating in like one building and like everyone knew each other from like 10, 20 years back. There were legends. I seen Cardinal Official just casually there, Shaw Claire, like a lot of these people, even Bishop Brigante, like a lot of them, like they were a little bit before my time, but we kind of knew about them.
Yeah.
And it was pretty interesting. There were like a lot of white rappers. So shout out to Dusty Wallace. Like he did make that statement that like, yeah, like Canadian hip hop for the most part, there are a lot of white rappers, you know what I'm saying? So at the beginning I was like, damn, like, is it just white rappers? You know what I'm saying?
No, but in defense also for that aspect, Bishop knows a lot of white rappers personally as a white man.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that was a lineup of all his personal people who's done songs with him, his homies, different shit like that.
Yeah.
Where like that scene itself, like that era, there was a lot of brothers that were and sisters that were putting on for the scene. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a predominantly white scene at that time.
Yeah, even last night, like eventually, like as the night progressed, okay, yeah, like it wasn't as many white rappers. I guess they were the openers, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
with no disrespect to those guys, but like
no disrespect. But yo, you know what also made me realize, like, and we're kind of discussing this outside about the ceiling within Toronto hip hop, right? Because we were in a room with like a lot of accomplished rappers, a lot of accomplished artists, people who are in the industry who like maybe even actively make their living off being in the industry, but it's still very localized. Like it doesn't seem like it's that like rich, like LA, Hollywood type made it. You know what I'm saying? But like these guys made it in a lot of ways,
Yes. But like I was telling you yesterday, and with the exception of Cardinal and a few other people who are still able to just tour and make some money to like, pay the bills and whatever, they're not touring and doing $50,000 a show, like $50,000 a show. This is Canada. For the most part, a lot of people have other jobs that they do, or they found a way to have their own business that they're working with, so that they don't have to pop up and be working at, I don't know. I don't want to say Tim Hortons or something like that. More something like at a call center, but you're like a Toronto hip hop legend that people used to watch on Much Music all the time.
Yeah.
But your monthly income is still from being a legend is not enough to make you just be able to just chill at the crib and just get the checks from SoCan. It's not like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and as Down to Earth is saying, like they're getting royalties, like like a lot of them are legitimately established artists, whereas like the artists that maybe my generation has kind of come up watching in the Toronto scene, they might have the clout, they might have the notoriety, but they don't have the commercial success. And after yesterday, bro, I went on Bishop Brigante's YouTube. I watched this, like he had this gambling story series, and he had like Drake on it, he had Kanan, and like he had a lot of people who were like legitimately established within the industry, whereas I feel like the newer generation kind of wants to skip the groundwork of trying to be legit, the groundwork of going to open mics, to rap into cypher, to proving yourself.
Yep.
And they just want the clout. You know what I'm saying? But what's the point of having clout if you don't have actual like fiscal success with your music? You know what I'm saying?
I think you might be misusing the word clout in this sense here, because a lot of these guys have more than clout. They have the respect. But even with that being said, yes, you have the hip hop respect. You're a legend in the hip hop scene, but is that going to be able to feed you in the long run?
But
where if you're a legend in an American scene, you might be able to. That still might be able to feed you in the long run.
Facts, and I agree with the respect thing. But for example, like let's just take like the new kids mentality. If they saw Bishop Brigante and they just seen 4.75 thousand subscribers, they'd be like, who is this guy? Who's this old guy rapping? They don't know he's a legend based off just his YouTube. They don't know about the actual money he makes from music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we kind of have the optics kind of messing us up. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at necessarily the history or like the cultural impact or network that people might have. We'll just like look at the followers and look at the views, and we're like, okay, like that's what determines whether they're successful or not. It's very shallow, but
yeah. Well, I'll show you one of these. Look at this. Stories, Joe Button.
Years ago. That is wild.
He's interviewing Joe Button.
Where is it? Is this in Toronto?
I don't know.
In Joyzy?
80 grand.
80 grand.
Spades. 80 grand in spades.
And I love that.
My man, shout out to my man, I gotta say his name.
Everybody does that. Win or lose, they do the same thing. Shout out to
my man was staying in the Trump International. He was in town for 3 days. He called me up and said, yo, I'm at such and such room, bring your partner, let's fucking get it on.
Cameraman is doing some rough work right there.
Even back in the day, the audio was not even a priority, because it's like you already have the camera audio and then you're throwing like music on top of it to like make a video. But it was just the fact that, yo, this is Joe Budden probably, right? It's like, who cares?
14 years ago.
The Drake one is crazy. You got to throw that one on after.
I'm throwing on now. Let's see. The one when they're in the basement with him and Young Tony?
No, the gambling story one where he was like, I forgot like what the actual story was, but it was early Drake. Like, I think like he'd already kind of made it. He was already bubbling. And even yesterday, like when we were discussing, I'm like, yo, so Drake was trying to come up in this scene. Like, we're at the rec room for Bishop Brigante. It's like, these were the peers that Drake was like competing with and trying to prove himself with, right?
He was in a group called the Wise Guys with Bishop Brigante, Johnny Rocks, Ken Masters, JD Era, and Young Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They were a power group back then, and you know that's, I don't know. They went their separate ways, obviously, but they were a conglomerate, let's say.
Mm.
This is going back in the crates, doggy.
Y'all already know who he is. Biggest artist in the world right now. Good? Don't know. Listen, so
Hold on. I'm hearing that successful beat playing right there. We ain't getting no OVO copyrights today.
So this is the Drake you remember. Like, this is what he was looking like when he was when you guys were all in the same circles.
Yeah, but I know I remember a Drake before this one.
Oh,
this is a more polished Drake.
Oh, okay.
Look at it. Listen, pause. No Diddy. Like, look at the man's hair, fam. Like, he looks like he's already trying to be an established rapper at this point.
Why,
you know what I'm saying?
He got the waves.
And Successful is out.
Okay, with Trey Songz.
Yes. Right. Actually, to be honest, that was the song that I've told this story multiple times, where Successful was the song competing against the Empire song.
Oh, did you guys have a similar type track?
Well, there was a contest going on for Flow 93.5.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, and then they had us at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel or one of those places like that, and we had to perform the songs that made it to the finals. And we were like the last two finalists that got to go to the hotel and all that and do our performance there. and it was Empire, the song Nowhere with Adam Bomb, Scandalous, and Trey the Rhyme Animal, and successful. And Trey Songz wasn't in attendance, but Drake did the successful tune, and he won.
Wow.
Obviously.
Who knows what if you guys won? Like, do you feel like you guys
would have been Drake?
That's crazy how like one instance can change like the course of history.
It was that night where it was all decided. Yeah, right. Hold on, please don't have no music playing. I want to see some of this shit, man.
We got a little bit of history. And so what it is for this segment is these are called the gambling stories, from cards, dice to life. These are the gambling stories. So first,
I can't even play it.
Don't worry about but y'all should check this out because it's very interesting, and it just speaks to Bishop Brigante's like cultural impact. And even yesterday, right? And I was thinking this because I used to be a rapper, you know what I'm saying?
You still are. Stop that.
I can rap, I'll rap most of these rappers, but I've been through that, like going through open mics and trying to like prove yourself, right? And a lot of these guys I didn't know, right? So it's like, how are you gonna get someone who's never heard of you, who doesn't know who you are, to actually like rock with your music? And it's actually hard, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the reason why we rock with music is the familiarity. It's like, oh, that's 50 Cent. I know that song. So it's like, you already know that song, but imagine it's a song that you've never heard before. You know what I'm saying? And a guy you've never heard before. That stage presence. And I felt that because a lot of the old songs that people beside me were knowing, because I went to the front, you know what I'm saying? I'll show my love. I was putting my hands up like this. I don't know if you see me Friday. I was doing this. I was doing all these. But broski, I was super active, and I was like one of the youngest guys there. And I was just by myself like Friday and Dusty were on stage. I'm standing next to like random, I don't even know who I'm standing next to. I find out these guys are like industry people. I find out I was just chilling beside Choclair the whole time, like for a while. I was like, I didn't even know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was unfamiliar.
That's hilarious.
Like I'm young, like I'm not gonna give excuses. Like maybe I should be a little more privy, but like
no, it's refreshing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shoot, there's a whole world that like I thought like the Toronto hip hop community was just like post like friggin' like a little bit before like Robin Banks and them, like more like Genghis Khan, and then like like a little bit after that. But even you guys were even before that type. You know what I'm saying?
No, Genghis Khan was part of that era too.
Oh,
he came from that era. Him and Bishop actually have songs together. They were in a group together. And just to give you some more some Toronto hip hop history from Friday Ricky Dread, they were part of a conglomerate called Slug. Scarborough Love Us Gangsters.
Slug.
Yeah. And those guys were a crew of guys that represented the Green Bray area, right? As a Scarborough man, you know where Green Bray is, right?
Green Bay Circuit, yeah.
So they're from that area, the guys from Slug, guys like Drew P, Pin, all those guys. And they had their group. It was a rap group called Slug, but it was more than a rap group. King Smooth, who was singing and rapping on stage last night, he's part of Slug. And then they started incorporating more members. So then they incorporated Genghis Khan, a.k.a. at the time he was just Camouflage. And then they also incorporated Bishop Brigante. So they were starting to become like a huge movement coming out of Scarborough. Trust me, for the people who know, they know. That was a time.
And you know what I realized, bro? Like a lot of the Toronto hip-hop community from your era, most of them were from Scarborough. Or maybe it's because Bishop's from Scarborough and like he brought out Scarborough. But like a lot of people were like Scarborough based, no?
At one point in time, I ain't gonna lie, Scarborough was kind of running it in the rap game. The West has always had a multitude of rappers that have come through from the West. Okay, and Cardinal, I think Cardinal's from the West, right? But in the late 90s, early 2000s, Scarborough had it in a kind of a chokehold. I'm not gonna lie. Really? Right? There was the Scartown stick up with the boy Khalifa. Right, he was a rapper from out of here, South Asian rapper, one of the brown guys. And bro, Scarborough was producing a lot of rappers and breakers and DJs. Monolith, right, with Danny O, IRS, You guys can give me some more names in the chat right here. I'm at a loss for some names right now, but Citizen Kane, those guys are out of Scarborough. Like, there's a lot of Scarborough guys that were popping in the 90s and early 2000s.
So when did that switch happen? When did the shift in popularity go from East End Toronto hip hop or Scarborough to, I guess, downtown or the West, or like, when did that shift happen? Did you notice?
It's always been moving around because, like I said, Cardinal's been, representing for the West, but for the most part, it was never as, when it comes to those guys who were getting on the radio and on Much Music and stuff, they weren't hood oriented. They were representing Toronto. Even though they all came from different ends, now you got to see like Shot Clears from Scarborough and all. They weren't like pushing it in the forefront of their raps, I'm on from this block or whatever. That came more in the mid 2000s, like early 2000s times with the mixtape era, when you started getting more hood rappers.
That's when the ends, it was more about what ends you were from as opposed to like the entire GTA. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And those that were starting to come out in those times, even like Bishop and all them, they were repping their ends. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm wearing the ends from Bishop, right? He was repping Section 6, which is over there by Kennedy and 401. Right? So it started to become way more hood-oriented than guys like the Hustle Men, which Mayhem Moriarty came out of. Those guys were repping the West End over there in Jungle. Ghetto Concept was always representing the West End, Rexdale, and there's always been a strong West End presence. But I think when it came to like the 2000s with Robin Banks and all that, like your era, and the Somali influx that came into Toronto in the 2000s, like let's say 2005, 2006, those guys were going crazy, taking over a lot of the West End. They, Somalians were moving, migrating all over Toronto, but the West End a lot. Right, and when the Somali movement started popping up, like Real Toronto News was just talking about it the other day. A lot of those guys are all West End mans. All the Mollies.
I was just talking to my boy who's also Mali, and he actually sent me that post, right? And he was like, "Yo, like we had a run." I was like, "You guys had a run, definitely. There's some type of cultural impact that the Mollies had on Toronto hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of sustained success, in terms of not just clout or notoriety or cultural impact, but like, how did that translate into musical success? You know what I'm saying? I still think that like Jamaicans still have more of an impact or more of a run per se than the Mollies in Toronto hip hop.
Well, there's still more Jamaicans in Toronto, period. Like most of the Jamaicans that migrate to Canada come to Toronto. Hold on, I'll play it.
Mollies had Toronto on smash
100%
for a while.
100%.
Like, if we're talking like the Halal gangs, we're talking like Robin Banks, we're talking top 5.
Yeah.
We're talking 3 on French.
APOC,
Koal and Finesse and Koal. Like I feel like they had Casper K Money. They're not Mollies, but Muslims too and all that. It's all mixed up and all that. But Casper's been going on. Maybe K Money's a little bit newer, but Casper has been at it for a while too. So like,
Casper's a legend.
Yeah, they really set the bar and like they really took it to next. Safe too.
Going back at it, Robin Banks.
I just feel like maybe it's because of the support system they had too.
Yeah,
maybe like
always have a big community.
Yeah. They really push their people, and that's great.
Yeah.
So even
they have 30 cousins. 50 cousins from different countries.
50 cousins on 40 devices.
That's the recipe.
100 devices.
Salute to Real Toronto News.
That is wild. Yo, what I will say, and shout out to Haji Basto, because I agree with OC Toronto. I feel like he's the guy right now. He's rookie of the year, as RTN said. But what I will say is, a lot of the Somali numbers from the YouTube stuff, it wasn't just from Toronto. There's a big pocket of Somalis in Minnesota that were actively checking for Somali hip hop in Toronto. And they were even like emulating guys like 3M French or Robin Banks or Moji, you know what I'm saying? And
also Edmonton too.
Edmonton too, eh?
Yeah. There's a lot of Mollies that moved over to Edmonton in the late 2000s. They did a whole W5 or is that W5? That special thing that does the in-depth reports.
CBC type?
No, it's like I think it was on CBC, but it was called W5, and they did a report on the Somalian immigration in the West over there in Edmonton, and how it's starting to change. It started changing the dynamics. This is back in 2010. I was watching this,
and I will admit, like, Somalis came. The Toronto Somalis came with their own sauce. They had white boys saying "A.W.O.L." Like it was a different time, broski. Like, and the music was good. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like the internal politics, it was almost like self-destructive, where it's like, okay, you have this wave, you have this success, but like, how did it pan out after? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there was almost some type of self-destruction. It's like, what did they do with the success? And now to this day, like if we're talking current day, what is the remnants of that now? Top 5 is still relevant despite the fact that, you know what I'm saying, he's in the bin or whatever, but
yeah.
And then it's Haji Basto, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
you know the funny thing with the A.W.O.L thing, and that's Puffy L's in them, and Smoke Dogg, R.I.P. Smoke Dogg, but Smoke Dogg wasn't even Somalian.
He was Jamaican, no?
Yeah, he was. I think they might have been from Aruba or something like that. They're from they're from the islands. They weren't Somali. Right? But the culture was so, like, they were so entrenched in the culture, being down with the crew that had like so many Somalians in it, right? That, Moji, Puffy L's, Mustafa, people mistook Smoke Dogg for being Somalian.
Yeah. You're right. It wasn't, even though they were Somali, they also had other like associated acts. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, they had a sick wave, and I think Haji Basto is probably the guy right now for them. And then I see Kanan. Someone mentioned Kanan. It's funny because like I feel like he's not even grouped with like this wave of Somalis, right? He's like on a different kind of level. He just won He just won a 2024 Grammy, not to mention the man's probably still eating off waving flag for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't want to get sidetracked too much on the East-West and the whole Toronto geographical breakdown. Just so we could circle back to the boy Bishop and pay his respects. I wanted to show you something also from the Joe Budden podcast, because we're going through some of those stories that Bishop has from back in the days, right? And he had a Joe Budden one from 14 years ago. But Bishop is so respected in the game. People don't even remember. There's a lot of people don't know that he has a whole tenure in battle rap as a host for KOTD. And he battled in KOTD and other battles. Like he battled Jin, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Like Bishop is he's I don't know. He's like a Renaissance man. He's done like many different things. I'll play something from Joe Budden though.
I am hearing that Bishop Brigante has a GoFundMe going.
Hold on. Yo, Joe Budden, don't strike me, fam. Just relax.
For his illness.
Yes. Shout out to Bishop.
Shout out to Bishop. I think the GoFundMe is for $100,000. Somebody should pull it up so we can shout it out. But I think I'm gonna pay a good bulk of it. I'm pretty sure about it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pay a good bulk of that thing. Now I do have some bills that are gonna go out first. Bishop.
Yes, it's for $100,000. They have the link posted on all of his socials, which is Bishop Brigante. But also you can just go to GoFundMe, hit the search and just type in his name, Bishop Bishop Brigante, Brigante, and it is the first result that pops up. Like I said, they're trying to raise $100,000.
Where are they at now?
Right now they're at 4,700.
Okay.
It's fairly new.
But yeah, I'm putting something on that for sure.
And listen, salute to Bishop Brigante and salute to the Joe Budden podcast. I hope Joey comes through and pays off the whole thing, man. Because in the end of the day, we also have to keep in mind the man's fighting colon cancer, bro. That's the crazy part. Like he was on stage for like an hour last night.
Bro, when I tell you, like, because I'm not gonna lie, like I've had family that's had that, you know what I'm saying, like close to me, and even like the amount of energy in that room, and seeing him perform and feeling how like almost everyone, like the whole thing with music is you want to connect with people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're all on the same wavelength, and you really feel like like goosebumps. You feel like the actual physical reaction. And that's the thing, when you're just rapping and like no one knows you and there's no connection, it's like, yo, get this guy off stage. But when it's like, yo, we're all united, it was like that's what music is essentially about. And he killed it, man. His son was amazing. He brought so many people out, and bro, there were moments where like I seen people crying in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like there were tear-jerker moments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful that music, and not just music, but human connection can kind of bring that out of us. You know what I'm saying? And it was also like just a positive event, bro. And I know like people sometimes make fun of like positive music and stuff, but bro, like I
don't know why.
That's the type of vibration that's gonna elevate you as an individual and give you that feeling. Bro, imagine he was doing all that and then his songs were just about like dead ops.
I know.
You know,
oxymoron.
Yeah, like, yo, let's raise money for me. It's like, yo, I'm smoking on this guy, smoking on that guy, smoking on this guy, smoking on that. Like, bro, like,
yeah. No, his last song was like, I will survive. And he wrote that song like 14 years ago. And like now, full circle, today the song is like fitting. It's like to the T. Like, yo, I need this song. This last song that I'm gonna perform tonight, I need this for myself right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's timeless shit.
I agree that like him being able to look back and like find songs and people knew the tracks type. Like everyone knew the tracks. Like people around me were knowing the lyrics, you know?
Fam, there was songs even from other mans, like when Tonin was performing, when he got off the stage, I was kind of irked. I was like, bro, I need you to perform Dial Tone. Because when Dial Tone dropped, when Tonin's Dial Tone, which is his first tune, that had the city on fire. The man said, I retired it. So my point is, Toronto mans have classics that they can retire the song. I don't feel like performing it anymore. Think about that, fam. Like, you're not an international star. In this city, people know the song so crazy, and you're so tired of doing it. I'm going to retire the song. It's too old. I've evolved.
That's wild. And you know what else was wild that you told me? That like you were seeing shorties who like used to pull up back when you was a rapper, like over 20 years. Like the community is still like sustaining itself, you know? And like I find that so interesting. Like it's still very localized. I can't imagine the biggest rappers of my generation, everyone like in a room together. Like it literally doesn't even feel like it's
somebody might get shot, bro.
Somebody will get shot. I don't even think actually it wouldn't happen because the Toronto police would shut down that event.
That's facts.
And I was gonna ask, like, in terms of events and in Toronto hip hop, were the Toronto police ever involved in your era? Was your era dealing with a lot of people who were convicted criminals and like the Toronto police would like stop shows, or was everyone in the music scene? Okay, interesting.
But in the subpart culture that I was in as well, like Point Blank, Hustle Man, different guys like that, they were getting their shows, like the police would stop their shows from happening a lot, right? But like, I've spoken about on camera multiple times, there was two different scenes. There's the scene which was like the guys who I mentioned, the mixtape rappers, they get on YouTube because YouTube was just starting at the time. And then the other guys who they do what they need to do so that they can get on much music. They'll lighten the music enough, or they're just already light like that. They're non-threatening. So their music's gonna get played on flow. Their music's gonna get played on much music. And it's like it was those guys and the gangsters.
Oh, so even then there was like a split in the scene, almost similar to today. You had
yes.
Okay.
We love hip hop.